The milk's clear over there.
Yeah, I'll pour it when he's ready. We'll have some more.
Do what?
Fill your dish up there. Or not.
Is it bedtime yet?
Almost.
Are you okay? Do you need something?
No, I'm okay.
You sure, Tim?
Yeah.
I got the back windows open, but I don't have the screens in here. The screen is so doggone hard, but there's one here over the sink.
Well, I can do that. Sit still.
These windows are Bill Johnson specials. They're for the birds, really.
The windows in our red house open toward you. I mean, they're new windows. They come into the room when you want to wash them.
Is there a need for more milk?
No, I don't think.
I'll just stick it back in before it heats up. These screens are almost bigger than the opening that they go in, and there's no give to anything. And I figure I finally got that one in, and I'm not fooling with this one. The last time I put it in and took it out, she hadn't had it open all summer, so to heck with that. I'm not fighting it anymore. Now, the other windows, those screens work great. You can put them in from inside the house. You open the window, you reach out with the screen and hook it on, and no problem. But these dumb things, you up on a ladder and trying to get them in.
No.
It's just the, the small ladder, not a straight ladder. You still okay? You sure? Would you tell us if you weren't?
Yeah. You'd probably notice it. My head would start shaking like crazy. I can feel it coming on sometimes. Why do y'all go to the Acme instead of like Giant Eagle or Marks? Are their prices better at Acme or?
Why do you go to Acme instead of,
Locally owned store. Giant Eagle's from Pittsburgh. Giant Eagle, if you don't get there early, the brothers are out there in full force, and the Muslims.
No,
really?
Yeah. And they only have maybe 1 or 2 cash registers open. The rest of us do it yourself. And go like that to them.
Yeah. And then Mark's is just,
They really don't, you don't really save much of anything going there. You can get your gas at their gas station with, I don't know, so many times you've been to the store. And same thing at Acme really, but I don't participate in that stuff.
it looks like it's cleaner than the other two. What's wrong with Mark's?
Well, Mark's is local also, and
it doesn't have as much as Acme?
no. And I think it's harder to get out of the place for the checkouts.
Yeah.
But everything's in line, and if you pay attention to the signs, you can find which aisle you want to get in. But it's a lot of walking. It's from one end of the store to the other.
Yeah.
I think that little woman that took us to her register
Yeah.
saw we were an older white couple,
That could be.
and we were the last in the line. There was like 4 in front of us, but all the lanes were like that. She walked past us and said, "Lane opening." I said, "Where?" And she said, 14. So we just followed her straight, and nobody else heard her.
Yeah, she said it kind of low so we could hear her.
Yeah, my mother bought a bottle of cheap wine there not too long ago. And the black woman at the checkout was a little woman. And looked at us and she said, "You're too young for this." I says, "When did you get your eyes checked last?"
Yeah. They should have said, "I need to ID you, see if you're 18 or 21 or."
I'm getting just a little annoyed with the 20-something crowd that wants to call me young lady
Oh,
or sweetie,
Yeah.
honey.
Yeah.
I'm yes ma'am to you.
If you know me, you may call me sweetie. If you don't know me, my name's Mrs. Granger.
Well, the other thing about this, it's hard to get into where you want to buy something there until you go through all the junk pile that they have at the beginning. You know, they don't want you cutting through on the registers.
I did it anyway.
Yeah, well, I've done it too.
I go between the courtesy booth and that first one because you're trying to get over to aisle 2 where the bread is.
Yeah. And I've always remembered that's aisle 2 ever since that time you went down there for bread and found out it was aisle 2. And I always hear you saying that, so I know where to get the bread.
Uh-huh. And you gotta cut through right by the service desk.
I know it.
Well,
Did you buy any lottery tickets there?
Yeah, I bought one scratch off and
We're gonna owe Nicole, cause I have another package that was delivered. And they delivered it by the garage.
it probably got rained on.
Don't matter. With washable tea pads.
Should have had it. Well,
Oh, that cantaloupe sure needed a few more days of ripening. Not that tasty. But
Yes, but it's juicy, and ours, we're used to them not being tasty and being dry.
Mm.
So we're enjoying the juice.
yeah.
when Kathy was living up here, she flew down to Texas to visit her mom, and she got on the airplane with 2 Ohio cantaloupes. One for her mom and one for us.
Yeah, it was good.
Boy,
Well,
what a difference.
yeah.
These blackberries taste kind of sour to me. Have you noticed?
They're not very sweet.
It's been so long since I had a blackberry.
Mhm.
They all taste good to me.
We had some on the property line between our grouchy neighbor and us, and he apparently thought they were his, growing into his yard, so they're dead anyway, as is most of our pampas grass. He's killed it. But I really don't mind the pampas grass being killed because the snakes like to hide in there.
Mm.
So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Need something else to drink?
Still got
Want some water?
No. Really good, thank you.
Okay, I'm
Two.
full now.
Well, they wouldn't let me pay for it, but I was getting 2 nectarines. They felt hard, but they're bigger than the ones we get back home. I thought maybe they'd be good.
Yeah, I didn't know if those are peaches or what.
Nectarines.
Oh, they're hard as a rock.
They will be.
I figured they weren't ripe yet, but I don't know.
That's a, what are they?
Those
Nectarines.
Oh,
You wanna
We
try
haven't
one?
had any good, we used to buy nectarines that were fairly good because I would take them to school for lunch. But probably for the last 6 or 7 years, everything we buy is hard as a rock and dry.
Mhm.
Apples, you can hardly get your knife in them.
You want to try one?
Well, they have to be ripe.
most
You've
of
got the
Acme's
knife.
apples.
Just sit still. I'm gonna wash it off and bring it to you. Is there
Most-
any reason you bought this lettuce?
I didn't know that.
She said you did.
Was out of your bag.
I didn't buy.
But
why
come
would
to
I
think
buy
of it,
lettuce?
it wasn't, yeah. I don't know where the heck it came from.
What is it?
I was
Lettuce.
I was gonna buy the blackberries in this, and then you insisted
Mhm.
on it, but I didn't buy the lettuce.
No, you're right about that, but I have no idea where it came from.
What? The
The
lettuce?
lettuce.
Well, the lettuce came from your hands.
Okay, if you
All
say
right.
so.
She bought the lettuce, okay.
I was right there when she was trying to decide, do I want lettuce or not?
Well, we'll
And
have
I
lots of
says it's
salad.
99 cents. It's
That
not,
did
it's
it.
not $2.
That did it.
Oh, that's
I re-
what it
I
is.
remember that now.
So we'll have lettuce salad.
We got about 2 heads in the thing.
I was in
No,
the
you
bed.
only have about a half a head.
I
You're
was in.
okay.
Then the bagged apples come from the Rittman orchard or Bauman orchard.
How do they get them to last from fall until summer?
They've got the right conditions, nitrogen or something that they put in the air. The old guy that used to run that Rittman orchard, he started that stuff.
What was it?
Apples from the orchard,
Oh,
you know, they're ready to eat in the fall, but here it is summer and they still have apples for sale.
Mhm.
oh no.
Don't stick yourself with that knife, dear.
Is it our dog or the next door neighbor?
That's next door.
It's still kind of green in the center.
Yeah, they won't let you cut them open at the store and look at them. I thought about doing that one time, because you can't tell, huh?
You can tell now, it's hard.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
green.
yeah.
But it was pretty. And that's what everybody wants, is their fruit to look pretty.
That's what I was telling Lucas one time, and he was agreeing. We're so spoiled. We gotta have a rice white. We gotta have a sugar white. They have to treat. He said he saw sugar in a friend of his where they had sugar cane and they squeezed it through that thing. They let it dry, and it wasn't white.
Yeah.
You know,
They sell raw sugar in the grocery store
I
and
told him
it's
that.
beige.
he said he was gonna look
I
for
think I
it.
ought to shut that car off.
Oh,
It's been running for about 25 minutes. Well, you didn't have to get up, but thank you for
yeah, I
doing
know
it.
you can fit through there, but
Yeah, it's
okay,
pretty
I won't
hard.
get up when you come in then, how's that? I locked your door too. I watered the tomato plants because he said he might, he can plant one. I said, we're gonna go get some fertilized dirt, some Miracle Grow.
It's
He
kinda
puts it in that cement thing, it won't be enough dirt and it won't grow.
Mm. But, and you don't have the kind of dirt to stick them in the ground, your tomato plants?
Well, we could stick it in a flower bed out here
No,
somewhere.
I'm talking at your house. You can,
Our growing season is over. Right now it's
Okay.
like 97 degrees down there.
Okay.
The tomatoes,
okay,
you know, most plants go dormant.
Mhm.
Tomato plants quit putting out blossoms or fruit or anything, and then they start drying up.
Mm.
We had such a warm winter though that some people, when they put their winter garden in, they put tomatoes in.
mm,
And tomatoes never got ripe because you have to have overnight temperatures in the 70s and 80s to get the tomatoes to ripen.
yeah,
So, but then they had a lot of fried green tomatoes.
mm. I don't like that.
I don't either, but it's a big thing down there. And they look good when you go to, you know, they're not fried like you and I would fry them. They're breaded or something first.
Mm.
I thought you batter dip them because I've seen them done that way. But every place we've gone recently, they've been breaded.
Mm.
And they'll put like, they'll slice a tomato and it'll be like this on a plate and drizzle some kind of sauce over it and charge you $5 or $6 for it. And then they pass the plate. Oh, have one, have
Yeah.
one. No, thank you. To me, they just taste like squash when they're green.
Oh, I don't like squash
And
at
I do
all.
not care for squash. There's like no taste to yellow squash.
I saw,
And
I didn't
zucchini
see-
squash tastes musty to me.
You're good girl, good girl. I know, she's looking around.
Looks like it's gonna rain.
Yeah, they've sure talked about it.
Just what we need is humidity.
Well, you weren't supposed to lean over or anything to let me in.
Just making sure.
Wait for me, I'll be right back.
like the ones back home.
Crummy, huh?
Thank you.
You'd have to find people growing them themselves.
Well, you remember what the pears were like when I planted pear trees? They were hard as rocks.
That's okay.
I would like to have a lemon tree like Al Caldwell
Yeah.
talks about his lemon tree. And they usually don't get as big as his. He said his was 10 or 12 feet and it was putting off just a ton of lemons. But his wife, they take the lemons and they squeeze all the juice out and they freeze the juice. And he loves lemon meringue pie.
Oh, yeah.
So she makes him lemon meringue pie all winter long. Not very good, huh?
Well, gave it a try.
Wonder how far you can throw that one.
Maybe it'll ripen if it stays out of the fridge.
Yeah.
Put it in a window.
Yeah, we could do that, huh?
Dad, you'd make a good blood donor. Looking at that vein.
I sure haven't done that in a long time either.
They want blood for me, they have to get it on the top of my hand or right there.
Mine's up in here someplace.
Did you ever hear of stuff called Theragesic?
Mm-mm.
I have.
You got a tube of it in here. Bob Norm, it was hurting him, he was really complaining. So I said, try this stuff. So he spread that on him. I failed to ask him the next time I saw him if that worked or not on him. Because I have it with this knee here, it bothers me, and sometimes in bed, when I first get in bed especially, my knee will jerk and jump around, and it aches in there. So I'll get up and spread some of that on my knee, go back to bed and go to sleep just like that. And that's, it works. But the only place that Bob knew where to get it was Rite Aid. And so I went in there and looked around and I couldn't find it. And the clerk came by and I asked about it. And it was in a different location from the rest of the painkiller stuff. But it seems to be pretty good.
But, you know, when I had all that trouble with my hip,
Yeah.
and I couldn't take the arthritis medicine because it was messing with my kidneys, Amy sent me some essential oil. And it was called Deep Blue. And it's just a drop or two and you rub it in. Well, I didn't notice it doing much to my hip until I started putting it on the soles of my feet, because I had read that someplace. When you look at your feet, you don't see big pores on your skin, but they say that's the most absorbing place on your body is the sole of your feet. And they've got your foot marked off as to this part handles the sinuses and this part handle, you know, whatever. So I would just take the essential oil and rub it on my feet. And not only did it stop the pain in my hip, but it knocked me out. It made me go to sleep. It was wonderful. So then when I ran out of that, she said they make a tube of lotion like you're talking about. And I said, yes, I saw that, but it's like $30 a tube. Well, she's selling this stuff. So she sent me a free tube. I didn't have to pay for it. It's really good, good stuff. If I have sleepless nights and I remember, I get up and sit on the edge of the bed and rub that stuff on my feet, and then I can go to sleep.
I hear them talking about reckless, how do they say it, restless knee syndrome. And I don't know if that's what this is on my knee or not, but this stuff takes care of it.
Yes, restless leg, which Tim has. He used to kick me in bed all night long. That leg would go out and just kick.
Well, this jumps on me. You know, I don't kick like that, but it's a jerk.
Mm-hmm. They have medicine for that.
Yeah, it fixes your leg from jerking.
Some of these packages are resealable. Not when she gets a hold of them.
Right,
We use,
have something.
you know, okay.
Here,
Take the bag, is what she want you to take the bag. Thank you.
we can have more than one. I'll have two.
You can have one.
You can do it without. Oh, it's only 10 after 12. We're a good time. What time are you guys going to eat? Early? 5.
I have no idea where we're going.
I have no idea either. Soft.
Your dad hangs some on his,
I saw that. The first day of my retirement, we went out to breakfast. And then we went out to lunch, then we went out to supper. And I had pictures of the first day of my retirement. This is what I had for breakfast, this is what I had for lunch.
I think she sent it to the teachers that were having to work. That was mean.
Mm-mm. Sherry swears I'll put in one more year, and then she'll have 35 years. I think she should have she'll get about 80% of her salary in her pension with that many years.
She's about my age, didn't she say? One time we were talking.
I don't think she's hit 60.
Well, I may have been wrong then.
She's still in her
I know
50s.
she said she went to St. Mary's and then she went to West Orange, and she may have been that class.
It's yours. They're good. It's soft. It's like they could almost melt. They're getting that soft in there. I was thinking maybe we should eat them all up.
Just put them
Just put them in the fridge.
in. Yeah.
We have to do that, and our air conditioner runs all the time, but anything chocolate has to go in the fridge. I was wondering about that. Did you turn the air conditioner up a little bit when we left?
It's on my list of things to do.
Right, but I hope you didn't put it up too high,
I
because
do.
if you did, it'll take forever to cool off the house and cost a bunch of money. When the air conditioner starts up for the first time, it has all that heat to take care of. And it, you know, in the summertime, that's what I keep worrying about our air conditioner is in the summertime, if it's 95 to 100 degrees, the air conditioner never shuts off and it never reaches the internal temperature you have it set on. You know, it just never does.
Well, do you have filters that you change, or you don't have these electronic gear switches? I haven't seen any of those that work yet.
We were in that house 4 or 5 months when the air conditioner went out. And it was the inside and the outside unit that had to be replaced. And it's been running like that for 16 years, so it's time. But they came out, was it last year or the year before? They did some $600 repair to it, and the year before that, they had come out and repaired something too.
Yeah, it's been 5 years since the guy was here on ours. They ran a scam against the
Tim,
people that come to Florida during the
like
winter.
it or not.
So early birds that go to Florida, you know, and
Yeah,
live. And these heating and ventilating companies, you're a marked person when you've got one of those places. And they sell you on a 3-year contract. I've told you this before. Marge Roach owned that place before we took it. And
who was that?
Marge Roach was her name.
Greg Roach's mother?
I don't know. She went to our church.
Yeah, it was Greg Roach's family then. Okay.
And anyway, she was down there full time, but then her daughter was coming down from Michigan and going to buy a place, and she was going to go in with them. So she wanted to sell her place, and it just happened that we were there at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought it, and she had this 3-year agreement with some furnace company, and so when it came time for it to renew, why I paid another 3 years ahead, you know, and they're supposed to check the unit when you first arrive on the scene, and then again before you go home, and then when you come back in the spring or in the fall again, they check it again, and no charge. But each time they check it, they find a part that needs to be replaced. And it's funny, but it seems to be the same part all the time, you know? And anyhow, after buying that 3-year agreement, and they looked at it, and we came home, when I come back down, tried to call them, and their phone number had been disconnected. They flew the coop. And so that turned me off on any of these maintenance agreements.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you buy something, they want to sell you an extended warranty. And usually the warranty is about 1/3 of what the item cost to begin with. And I know, I think it was Sears, when I bought the washer and dryer, it would extend it like another 3 years. You get a 1-year warranty and another 3 years. I said, well, this shouldn't break down. If it's gonna break down, then it must be a piece of junk and I don't want it. Oh, no. That became my standard answer to all of them when they'd start that. Now, usually they say, do you want the extended warranty? And I say no, and they don't even go trying to convince anymore. Remember, I bought a microwave there once. It was a gift. I bought a microwave, and it was $100, and they wanted to sell me an extended warranty on a $100 microwave. And so I used my, well, if it's going to break, it must be a piece of junk. I'll go find one someplace else. Oh, this covers theft, and fire, and whatever. I said, well, my homeowner's insurance covers that, so I don't need it.
Somebody's gonna break in your house and steal your washer and dryer
No, but it was a microwave.
or microwave.
It was a gift, and I said if she wants it, she can come buy it.
Well, what you have down there, is it a heat pump? Or do they have heat pumps around your area?
I don't know what it is. It's electric heat.
But it does it also cool, the same unit?
Yeah.
It's probably a heat pump.
We have
It's
an
expensive.
outside unit and we have an inside unit, and the outside unit is like the air conditioned part of it,
Yeah.
and the inside is the heating part of it.
Yeah.
But it,
That's what they were selling down in Florida, so I'm sure it's the same thing.
Yeah.
somebody put on
People-
Facebook yesterday a picture of one of those little tiny houses.
Yeah,
And I noticed when I looked at it, because it looked pretty cool on the inside, it had a washing machine, a dishwasher, a stove, and a refrigerator all in a line,
Oh.
and then a counter over here. And I'm looking at that, and I said, well, where's the dryer? And this is when I found out they now make a washer and dryer combo. It's
Oh.
one machine.
Oh,
I'd
do you
never
do?
heard of that before.
oh man,
So after you wash your clothes, the thing just starts drying it.
What is that?
trying to stab me.
I guess so, but then you wouldn't be able to be washing a load of clothes while something's drying,
yeah.
because you have one machine that's going to wash and dry one load at a time.
Mhm.
Of course, if you were living in a tiny house, it'd probably be one person and limited amount of clothes.
Well, you'd work it out, take you a while to get used to something like that.
Yeah, and it probably would break right away
Mhm.
because it seems like those Samsung appliances are good for about 5 years, and then that's it.
I've had those all across that fence back here, and now that the burning bushes that I've got started,
Mm-hmm.
they're blocking the view of that. I just see a few road lilies at the end. I planted them by digging them out. They were in the roses. I dug them out, took them down there, threw them on the ground, and stepped on them, and they grew.
That's why I was asking you about our cannas, because we had them there by the pool house, and we dug them up, and you took them and threw them over there on the property line between Grouch and us. You remember that? And I just wondered if they ever grew.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
We dug all those cannas up because, well, they get worms,
Mhm.
and they eat the leaves, and they look ratty, and then they were getting so tall too. I had yellow ones and red ones, and they cross-pollinated, so then I had orange ones.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, before Beverly moved and even thought about moving, she planted some 4 o'clocks or some doggone thing that vines around along that garage over there. And those suckers got over into the pachysandra in our yard, and they're there every year, and I'm out there pulling them out,
Yeah.
and you
I
can't
bet
get
it's-
rid of them.
Is it morning glories?
It could be.
Because
It's-
those things come up and they vine, and it seems like she had them
Yeah.
going up the side of the garage, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, she had strings tied up to
Yeah.
the spouting there.
Mhm.
Well,
Those are pretty in the fall up here. We get them, we have some wild ones that grow by our mailbox,
Hmm.
and they don't really get very big. They don't even crawl all the way up to the mailbox, but they're little tiny purple flowers, and they look just like a morning glory, except lighter colored and a smaller flower.
these flowers, when they manage to avoid me pulling them out, they flower, but they're real yucky looking. They don't have any color to them, and they're not good. It's because the first year they bloom, they're okay, but then when they start coming up on
Reseeding.
their own, they reseed, and they're not good. And they jump that little narrow pass of grass from the garage over into our side.
That's like these birch seeds on my truck. Everywhere I go, I'm spreading birch seeds.
Yeah.
Sure are a lot of those seeds.
I try to remember to put a hat on before I go out there because you can feel them coming down in your hair, you know.
I never thought about that. Speaking of which, I never even put my makeup on.
I didn't either. I didn't figure it made any difference either. Oh. I swear it's gotta be nap time.
Well,
Nobody's agreeable.
The only thing is if you nap longer than 15 minutes, then you don't sleep tonight.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I'm up so doggone often, every 2 hours so I'm glad I can wake up for that, just, or else.
there's one of the men that's a bagger down at Acme. He's got to be approaching 7 feet tall. He's a big, tall guy, and he's been married a couple of times, and he's got I don't know how many dozen kids he's got, and it sounds like a real I don't know what you'd call it, but anyway, he says he works like 3 or 4 days a week, and that's all. And one day he was really grousing around. He said they wanted to add, I think, three more hours to his day, and he didn't like that. He said, "Boy," he says, as soon as I can get my car paid off, I'm leaving this place." So I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
And, that guy today that gave us the card, and then I returned it, and he was the same guy. I asked him about it. I said, "What about this tall guy that used to be here?" He says, "Oh, he's still here. He's on vacation right now." But
Well,
he's told me his life history at different times, and it's wild. But he's a nice guy, and he has a good sense of humor. And
Kayla looked around and says, "Where's my dad?" She didn't see take that cart.
Yeah, I was gonna back out and take off.
well, I was, you didn't have to walk very far to put it in the return place. So I thought, well, some people just leave it out there in the middle someplace, and I don't do that.
But if you'd have looked before you walked that far, it was a lot closer to take it up to the store.
I know, there's times I do that too, but
Mother, clothespin, if that's where the clothespin goes.
anyway, when I took it down there, he made that comment, "This looks like the same card I gave you a while ago."
Yeah.
And I told him, "Yeah, it is." I said, "I didn't want to take it home with me like some people do."
I know
And
it.
then that's when he told me, he says, "We get carts from all over, all different stores that end up there." You would think it would be the opposite, that
Yeah, 'cause
they run out
Well-
of carts.
We have some people, when we go to get our hair cut, we'll see people go to the market basket way over here, and they take their groceries in a cart, and they pass the beauty shop. They go down the shopping mall, past where I get my nails done, and way down there's an opening in the area, and if they take the cart back there and cross the street, there's an apartment building. And they gotta, so then when they come back, they probably bring that same cart. So maybe they've swiped one from the dollar store or something, and they take it to the market basket.
Well, I figured most of them are too lazy to take it back. They just push it someplace and leave it.
And they
Yeah.
could do that too.
Because I've seen them, along the highway or
Yeah.
the streets.
Well, then
Well-
this corner down here before you get to the post office, right there, the Giant Eagle and Brown and Waterloo. It must be a really good place for collecting money, begging.
Yeah, but they're down there all the time.
Well, yesterday there was a man that truly looked homeless. He looked in bad shape, and he had a some kind of a bag with him, but he's holding up this cardboard, you know, homeless. And it's just, he looked terrible.
But they don't take advantage of the place, the stuff that's offered to them. So they make more money standing on that street corner and park their Cadillac out of sight. And
Seriously.
they're doing good business, and you don't know the ones that really need it against the ones that are scamming you. You
Right.
know? And it's a shame that that goes on that way.
Well, Beaumont and Viter pretty much took care of it. It's against the law to do that now. If they tell you once, you've been warned. They tell you twice, they'll arrest you.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to be doing something similar to that here, and there for a while they wanted them to register and to get a permission to do
beg.
that. Yeah, and that didn't work. And like, where do you get off of the 77 down here where it cuts across Main Street and that? They'll be down there a lot of times, both getting on and getting off there. And then if we take that short stretch from Main Street over to Manchester Road, they're out there at Manchester Road with a sign. But they, you know, we've got, this place, what's the one we donate to all the time, that Jerry does too?
Salvation.
Salvation Army.
The Brotherhood, the Brotherhood.
And,
The one that's run by the church.
yeah, Haven Arrest.
Haven Arrest. They do a lot of good, and they could find a place to get in and out of the weather when they need it, and they take care of them. And that outfit operates strictly on donations. They have no other source of income, and they feed people and give them a place to sleep at night. But these guys make more money standing by the side of the road holding the sign.
What was it, that woman in Houston was making $200 or $300 a day?
Yeah. Tax free.
But the last time we went to Houston, they were at the corner, our famous corner where we always turn, and it's like they're territorial. This is my spot, and that's your spot.
Uh-oh.
And over here was a young black girl, probably in her 20s. She's got a big cardboard sign, and she's just waving it. She said, "I have a job. I have a job."
That doesn't go there.
Why was she?
She was
Well,
blessing
I was
people. They're not listening. She was blessing people.
What would you like me to do with it since you're kicking it around with your foot?
Move it to the desk where it belongs. Thank you.
Okay.
Now I can get up and move. Maybe.
Yes, and I can too.
Maybe.
That was good.